भारत का एकमात्र जंग-रोधक सीमेंट।
Well, hello and welcome to Business Wrap. I'm Sidhant Sibal and let's begin with our top business headlines. Markets end in green after a volatile day of trading. Sensex gains 37 points to end at 25,100 levels. Nifty ends above the crucial 7,500 levels. 14 burnt alive, several injured in a powerful blast in GAIL pipeline in Andhra Pradesh's East Godavari district. Fire extinguished, ONGC shuts gas field. President and Prime Minister condole deaths. Petroleum Minister and Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu rushed to the spot. And Petroleum Minister Dharmendra Pradhan orders inquiry into the tragedy, says ONGC and GAIL will be kept out of the probe team. Well, let's begin with our staple, that's the stock market. It was a roller coaster day for the markets. The markets opened in green and almost gained 100 points. Then around midday lost steam. Later after 3 p.m. they picked up again to close in green. Sensex gained 37 points to end at 25,100 levels. Nifty gained 16 points to end at 7509. Just 9 points above the crucial 7,500 levels. Firmness in European stocks aided gains on domestic bourses. Gainers on the chart were Sun Pharma, TCS, Cipla, Wipro and Dr. Reddy's Lab, which were up by between 3 to 2%. Losers on the chart were Hindalco, BHEL, Bharti Airtel, SSLT and Mahindra, which were down by between 2 to 1%. The market breadth indicating the overall health of the market was positive. Well, on to the global market action. Well, the Asian stocks edged lower after the US Federal Reserve official said that the US may raise interest rates by March. Key benchmark indices in China, Japan, Indonesia, Singapore, South Korea and Taiwan fell by between 0.11% to 1.39%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng rose almost 0.1%. On to European stocks. The European stocks edged higher as investors awaited data on US consumer confidence to gauge the outlook for the world's largest economy. Key benchmark indices in Germany, France and UK were up by between 0.25% to 0.37%. So how did the markets went through, whether they went through ups and downs? Here is a special report.
The week started on a weak note. Sensex closed at 25,031, down 74 points, while Nifty closed at 7,493, down 18 points. Nifty shut sharp below the crucial 7,500 levels. Tuesday, the markets recovered. Sensex jumped 338 points to close at 25,369. Nifty was up 84 points to end at 7,577. Wednesday, Sensex again slipped 50 points on profit booking. Nifty was down 11 points. Oil and gas backed stocks were the major losers. Thursday, markets ended in red. Sensex lost 251 points to close at 25,063. Nifty lost 76 points to end at 7,493. Friday again, it was a roller coaster ride for the markets. Market opened in green but by midday lost steam to trade in negative territory. Later again it bounced back to trade in green. Business Bureau, DG News.
Well, now on to RBI'S Financial Stability Report. The Reserve Bank of India in its Financial Stability Report has said that state-run banks' asset quality still remains under high-risk category. The report also noted concerns over global and domestic economic growth. But the overall tone of the report reflects optimism generated by the election of Narendra Modi as Prime Minister and the thumping majority secured by his Bharatiya Janata Party.
The worst might be over for the economy. The Reserve Bank of India in its biannual financial stability report reflects optimism generated by thumping majority secured by Bharatiya Janata Party in recently concluded general elections. It says prospects of economic recovery and markets look bright on the back of improved political stability, but supply-side issues need to be solved to help monetary policy bring down inflation. The central bank drew comfort from reduction in both fiscal and current account deficits and moderation of consumer price index-based inflation. The Indian economy has grown at less than 5% for 2 successive years, hit by high inflation and borrowing rates. RBI says general risk facing the Indian economy were expected to come down on more decisiveness in government policy formulation and necessary impetus to the investment cycle. RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan noted in the report that the government is under some pressure to deliver in order to match expectations. The report observed that though the economic prospects are looking bright, the banking sector continues to face headwinds. The central bank added while the financial sector remains stable, public sector banks continue to face challenges in terms of asset quality, profitability, capital and most importantly, governance and management processes. RBI said stress on the system has increased mainly due to liquidity and profitability pressures. The central bank predicts that gross NPAs of lenders will remain steady at 4 to 4.1% by the end of fiscal 2015 compared to 4% at the end of March 2014. However, there are chances that the NPA ratio could increase further to 5.5% if macroeconomic conditions deteriorate. Clearly, Reserve Bank of India Governor Raghuram Rajan has given his stamp of approval for the new government's ability to resolve macroeconomic problems, as this could strengthen the Indian financial sector, which remains fragile due to a mountain of bad debts. Business Bureau, TV News.
Well, on that note, time for a short break.
पहले यहाँ कोई काम नहीं मिलता था। महात्मा गांधी नरेगा ने यहाँ काम शुरू करवाया। महात्मा गांधी नरेगा ने हमारे परिवार को हर साल 100 दिन रोजगार की गारंटी दी है। महात्मा गांधी नरेगा में काम करने के बाद 15 दिन में मजदूरी मिल जाती है। अब मजदूरी के लिए शहर नहीं जाना पड़ता, गांव में ही काम करते हैं, बच्चों के साथ रहते हैं घर में।
महात्मा गांधी नरेगा साल 2012-13 में करीब 5 करोड़ परिवारों को रोजगार दिया गया।
समय पे काम, हाथों हाथ दाम।
दादाजी, आपका नाम क्या है?
रमेश प्रसाद।
आपको कैसे पता?
ये देखो।
नहीं चलेगा, बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट नहीं है आपके पास? बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट के बिना लाइफ आजकल बहुत मुश्किल हो सकती है। मेरे पास तो है बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट।
बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट स्कूल में एडमिशन, सरकारी नौकरी, वोटर आईडी कार्ड और पासपोर्ट हासिल करने में मदद करता है। इसे आप बच्चे के जन्म स्थान पर 21 दिन के भीतर नगर निगम नगर पालिका से बिल्कुल मुफ्त पाएं।
नन्ही सी जान की पहली पहचान।
Welcome back. Well, in Andhra Pradesh, at least 14 persons have been burnt alive and about 40 other injured in an explosion which occurred at a pipeline near a natural gas rig under the control of GAIL Authority of India. The incident occurred at Nagaram village in Amlapuram Mandal of East Godavari district early this morning. According to local police, so far 14 bodies have been taken out. The deceased include women and children. The injured have been sent to nearby government hospitals. Meanwhile, ONGC officials, with the help of police and fire extinguishers, have controlled the fire. Several houses, shops and coconut gardens in about 15 acres have been reduced to ashes in the fire, which rose to a height of more than 200 feet.
ईस्ट गोदावरी जिले में काटीपाका के पास जो गैस गैदरिंग स्टेशन है, उससे जो आगे पाइपलाइन जाती थी, उसमें एक ब्लास्ट हुई है, ब्रस्ट हुई है पाइपलाइन। जो प्राथमिक सूचनाएं हम लोग इकट्ठा कर पाए हैं आंध्र सरकार से, स्थानीय प्रशासन से और हमारी गेल ओएनजीसी जो संस्थाएं वहां काम पे लगे हैं, उनसे जो जानकारी ले पाए हैं, कुछ लोगों की हताहत की खबर आई है। कुछ लोग गंभीर स्थिति में स्थानीय अमलापुरम अस्पताल में भर्ती हुए हैं।
Well, President Pranab Mukherjee has condoled the loss of lives in the GAIL pipeline tragedy. In his condolence message, the President said that he is extremely saddened to learn about the explosion of a GAIL gas pipeline in East Godavari district, in which some persons have lost their lives and many other injured. The President said that he is sure that the state government and other agencies are taking necessary steps to provide urgent medical assistance to the injured. Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also condoled the loss of lives in the fire in a GAIL pipeline blast in Andhra Pradesh. He has spoken to the Petroleum Minister, Cabinet Secretary and GAIL Chairman and has asked them to ensure immediate relief at the accident site. Well, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has announced an ex gratia relief of rupees 2 lakh from the Prime Minister's Relief Fund for the next of kin of those who have lost their lives in the GAIL pipeline tragedy. Rupees 50,000 have been also sanctioned for those who were seriously injured in the accident. This is in addition to the relief assistance given by the Petroleum Ministry and GAIL. Well, the Minister of Petroleum and Gas, Dharmendra Pradhan, has said that a high-level committee has been set up to investigate the matter of Andhra Pradesh's Nagaram gas explosion.
अभी सारे गैस इनपुट और आउटपुट पाइप को हमने बंद किया है। वहां आग थमी है, आग अभी वहां नहीं है। ये गंभीर स्थिति है। इस स्थिति की गंभीरता को ध्यान में रखते हुए विभाग ने एक उच्च स्तरीय जांच समिति बनाई है। हमने गेल और ओएनजीसी दोनों को इस जांच प्रक्रिया से बाहर रखा है।
Well, the Andhra Pradesh government has also ordered an inquiry into the pipeline blast. Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu tweeted about the need to have a preventive plan to ensure safety. He also expressed shock and grief over the deaths and extended condolences to the bereaved families. The Chief Minister cut short his New Delhi trip and rushed to East Godavari to reach the accident spot.
We are in touch with the Petroleum Minister also. I am monitoring through Collector and also my Home Ministry is in SWAT. We are discussing. I am rushing to the spot. Even Petroleum Minister and other officers also, they are coming. We will go through all the details, how it happened. Ultimately, safety is important. We want to take some actions on that. What are all the lapses? All lapses has to be corrected. Not only corrected, in future it should not happen.
Well, in the last 4 months, India has seen 4 gas leak accidents, which is definitely considered to be a serious concern, not just about safety regulation or the health of oil and gas sector, but also about fragile Indian economy. On the other side, the current Iraq turmoil has also been often sending a warning signals to our energy sector. We bring you this special report.
A major accident in which at least 14 people were killed and several others injured in a fire following a blast in a Gas Authority of India Limited gas pipeline in Andhra Pradesh's East Godavari district raises many questions regarding the safety regulatory system in our country related to the industries of oil and gas sector. Also, it adds up to the fragile situation of the sector due to the ongoing Iraq crisis and also the government's decision to defer the gas price increase after 3 more months. There have been 4 gas leak incidents since the month of March. On March 18, 2014, 7 workers died after inhaling toxic gas at a dyeing unit in Perundurai near Erode in Tamil Nadu. This was followed by another gas leak incident when 54 people were unconscious after inhaling harmful ammonia gas that leaked from a cold storage plant in Tuticorin in Tamil Nadu on June 5, 2014. On June 12th, a gas leak at the Bhilai steel plant in the northern state of Chhattisgarh killed 6 people and injured 30 others. It is certainly not a normal issue to be ignored as there is an increase in such type of accidents in our country. This definitely suggests that there is a need for a strong safety regulatory system. There are over 1900 major accident hazard control units or facilities in India. There are also thousands of registered hazardous factories below MAH criteria. Also, there are numerous factories in unorganized sectors storing and handling hazardous chemicals posing serious and complex risks to people, property and the environment. The presence of a strong regulatory regime will definitely be in a position to avoid such accidents because the effects of such incidents are enormous and diversified. In addition to the loss of lives, these disasters have eroded the manufactured, human and natural capital base of the Indian economy. Flow on, adverse impacts to the banking and finance sector are also significant. On the other side, Indian economy can feel the tremors produced by the ongoing Iraq turmoil too. India's heavy reliance on imported oil, especially from Iraq, makes it more vulnerable than most countries to the conflict there, with surging oil prices threatening the new regime's plans to resuscitate the Indian economy. India is the fourth largest oil consumer in the world and relies on imports for more than 3/4 of its oil needs. India cannot afford any disruption of gas import due to its fragile economic situation. Upon that, if that oil and gas supplied to various corners in India after getting refined in many factories get affected, then the magnitude of the losses incurred due to such incidents is unimaginable. So there is a need for the government to bring in strong measures and regulations to avoid any such incidents which indirectly fleeces the exchequer. Current accident fatality numbers are clearly not acceptable if India wants to become a global leader in this sector. To achieve drastic reductions in the frequency and number of major accidents, India should transform its safety regulatory system and build professional capacities within the inspectorate. As a side benefit, this will also enable the strong and vibrant oil and gas industry to become world-class both in the market and safety performance. Business Desk, TD News.
Well, on to some international news. Well, European leaders will vote on a new EU Commission President on Friday, that's today. EU leaders meeting in Brussels are expected to confirm former Luxembourg Prime Minister Jean-Claude Juncker as the next President of the European Commission. The move comes despite strong opposition from Britain. Lots of reforms are also expected to be announced. So what are the prospects for European Union's reform in this meeting? Here is a report.
The man of the moment, Jean-Claude Juncker, at the meeting of the centre-right European People's Party ahead of a European Leaders Summit. He's hoping to be appointed to the European Union's top job, Commission President, before the week is out. Most European leaders have now got behind him, including Germany's Angela Merkel, one increasingly lone voice of dissent, Britain's David Cameron. He believes Juncker is too keen on European integration and won't listen to voters' call for reform, as expressed in the European elections last month.
I believe that the European Commission President should be chosen by the elected heads of government and heads of state on the European Council. That is the right approach, and it is wrong to sign up to this power grab by the parties of Europe and the European Parliament. I also think it's important that the people involved understand that we need reform in Europe, and it doesn't matter how hard I have to push this case, I will take it all the way to the end.
Cameron's attempt to rally support have fallen flat. The Swedish and Dutch leaders initially shared his reservations, but now won't block Juncker.
I doubt there'll be any reform in the EU. I think it's clearly an institution incapable of doing so. And I think certainly Juncker plus what now looks to be a fairly minor post for a UK official in the Commission probably increases the chances of Brexit in 2016 or indeed 2017. This is Europe. The deals have been done. Everybody else has used the UK's isolation to try and get a better job for their candidate in terms of the plum Commission posts.
One of those deals, Germany offered Italy a gentler interpretation of European Union budget rules to encourage Prime Minister Matteo Renzi to support Juncker's nomination. Ahead of the summit, a moment of European unity with a visit to Ypres to commemorate the 100th anniversary of World War I. But the deep disagreement over who should head up their most important joint institution may also have lasting repercussions. This is Bureau, DD News.
Well, on to top business stories. Other top business stories, starting with days after the government put off the natural gas price hike by 3 months. Power Minister Piyush Goyal said that there were anomalies in the proposed Rangarajan formula which needs to be fixed before revising rates. Goyal criticized the Rangarajan formula for pricing of domestic gas, saying affordability of power and fertilizer sector, which consume almost 2/3 of all gas produced in the country, should have been kept in mind. Well, the Reserve Bank of India will be open on July the 1st during its annual closing of accounts to facilitate settlement of market and public transactions. The Reserve Bank's accounting year is from July to June. Well, Narayan Murthy, who is stepping down as the chief executive chairman of the Infosys, is getting ready with his next big bet. Well, Narayan Murthy is giving finishing touches to his plan to make an entry into the e-commerce space with the global giant Amazon. Murthy will route his investments through his firm Catamaran Ventures. Well, SEBI has revoked its order that had barred 8 entities from capital markets in a matter related to a sharp plunge in the share prices of some mid-cap stocks such as Parsonat, Tulip Telecom and Pipavav Defense. Giving the entity benefit of doubt, the SEBI said that no further action is called for against persons or entities relating to the matter. Well, DDA or Delhi Development Authority has decided to pay simple interest at 8% instead of the current 5% on the registration deposit for all its future housing schemes. DDA said in a release that the decision was taken in order to narrow the gap between the interest paid to the allottees and the charge for delay payments for its housing schemes. Well, pharma major Ranbaxy Hill Laboratories said that it has received approval from the US FDA or US Food and Drug Administration to manufacture and market Valsartan tablets on the exclusive basis. The tablet is indicated for treatment of high blood pressure and heart failure. Well, Ukraine, Georgia and Moldova has signed partnership agreements with the European Union in a move strongly opposed by Russia. The pact, which would bind the 3 countries more closely to the West, both economically and politically. Well, heavy spending on marketing weighed on Nike's performance in its 4th quarter, which ended 31st May. Spending on marketing soared 36% as Nike boosted promotion ahead of the 2014 FIFA World Cup. Between March and May, Nike launched a number of new shoes, including the Mercurial Superfly, worn by Portugal's Cristiano Ronaldo. And finally, consumer prices in Japan rose at an annual rate of 3.4% in May, the fastest pace in 32 years, as the effect of sale tax hikes started to be felt in the country. Well, Japan raised its sale tax rates from 5% to 8% on 1st of April. Well, now some news from Iraq. Well, the Iraqi government has said that its army has thwarted an attack on the country's largest oil refinery at Baiji. But that's where the good news ends. Reports suggest that ISIL, the Sunni terror group, is consolidating its grip over Sunni provinces under its control. ISIS and its Sunni Muslim allies seized large part of Iraq early this month.
Officials say Iraq's largest oil refinery at Baiji remains in government hands. They released this video of the site. Earlier, militants claimed to have seized the Baiji refinery north of Baghdad. But this Iraqi official says the army thwarted the attack by Al-Qaeda offshot ISIL.
Yesterday we repelled an attempt to attack Baiji refinery and we killed all the militants who approached the perimeter. Baiji refinery has turned into a graveyard for the coward militants.
Baghdad is racing against time as the insurgents consolidate their grip on Sunni provinces. Several thousand people arrived at a refugee camp on Thursday after ISIL took control of Mosul, Iraq's second largest city, last week. This woman is frustrated by the poor conditions.
I have 7 kids. All of them are girls. You can go and see our tents. It has nothing. We don't even have a thermos bottle for water.
South of the capital, relatives mourn loved ones killed in a suicide bomb attack on the city's outdoor market.
What did they do to deserve to be killed? They are all poor people. We pray to God to have mercy upon their souls.
No one is immediately claiming responsibility for the attack. The fighting threatens to rupture the country 2.5 years after the end of US troops left the country. Sunni insurgents blame Iraqi Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki for marginalizing their sect during 8 years in power. Business Bureau, GT News.
Well, the shale gas boom in US is making waves. The Obama administration has cleared way for the first exports of unrefined American oil in nearly 4 decades. The move comes amid the shale gas boom. Here is a report.
There is softening of the 4 decades-long export ban on oil. The United States will allow 2 companies to export a type of ultralight oil if it has been minimally refined. The shipments could start as soon as August. But it is unclear just how much the companies Pioneer Natural Resources and Enterprise Product Partners would be allowed to export. The US has not changed its policy of banning crude oil exports. Rather, it is reclassifying what it regards as a processed product. A Commerce spokesman says it now considers the minimally processed condensate a petroleum product. Current law allows US exports of refined fuel products like gas or diesel but not crude, whose exports were banned during the Arab oil embargo of the 1970s. The move comes amid projections that the US will displace Saudi Arabia as the world's top crude producer thanks to the shale oil boom. Few reports also pointed out that removing the oil export ban would boost government revenues by more than $1 billion. But do not expect Congress to lift the crude ban right away. The elections are in November and they do not want voters to blame them for a move that could boost oil prices in America. Business Desk, GD News.
Well, time for the recap of the main headlines. Markets end in green after a volatile day of trading. Sensex gains 37 points to end at 25,100 levels. Nifty also ends above the crucial 7,500 levels. 14 burnt alive, several injured in powerful blast in GAIL pipeline incident in Andhra Pradesh's East Godavari district. Fire extinguished, ONGC shuts gas field. President and Prime Minister condole deaths. Meanwhile, Petroleum Minister says that an inquiry will be launched into the matters. GAIL will be kept out of the inquiry. And that's all in this edition of Business Wrap. Thanks for investing your time with us. Namaskar.